DJI Air 2S and the Mini 3 Pro. I am still getting asked which of these to go for, with people absolutely torn between the two. Now that the Air 2S also works with the big RC remote, it is even harder to choose. So today I'm going to take a quick look at the pros and cons of each model to try and help anyone thinking about buying or upgrading. The indecision is pretty easy, to be honest. The Mini 3 Pro RC bundle is actually a chunky £859 or $909, whereas the Air 2S is currently on special at just £769 or $849, making it actually cheaper than the Mini 3 Pro. Of course, that's with the older RCN1 remote that doesn't actually have that big lovely screen. But to make matters even more difficult, the newer Mini 3, which doesn't have obstacle avoidance, of course, is currently a fairly impressive £569 or just $609 with the RC remote screen. Now, admittedly, those are discounted prices that won't last, but DJI do offer these discounts every so often. And what it actually tells us is that DJI itself places the Air 2S pretty comparably with the Mini 3 Pro. So what are the actual technical differences? Well, size and weight and camera are normally the key points that I consider when choosing a drone. Now, the Air 2S is the bigger drone, of course, although considerably smaller and lighter than the Mavic 3 models, but it is still twice the weight of the Mini 3, coming in at 595 grams or around 1 pound in weight. This not only puts it way above the crucial 250 gram mark that grants so much more freedom flying, certainly in the UK, Europe and Canada, but crucially it also puts it above the 500 gram mark that gives people who hold the A2 C of C the rights to fly in built up areas, albeit without flying over people. So the bigger size of the Air 2S can indeed be a real barrier depending on where you're flying. But looking at the camera specs, things are far closer and more aligned. The Air 2S has a big, beefy, beautiful 20 megapixel sensor that can shoot 5.4K video. This makes it the front runner if still photography is your thing, being the clear winner for photos. But the higher resolution of 5.4K video isn't so clear cut. In truth, I think all this gives is the ability to crop video losslessly and still remain in 4K. I really don't see the huge benefit of 5.4K video. It's not a native resolution to most screens for viewing. And if you're uploading to social media, the compression will squeeze the absolute nuts out of anything that you might be getting advantage-wise with the higher resolution. And here's the thing. The smaller sensor on the Mini 3 and the Mini 3 Pro is actually similar to the Air 2S. The Mini 3 Pro does offer super high resolution photo mode of 48 megapixels, which sounds insane, but is in fact just a quad Bayer overlay on 12 genuine megapixel sensor. Don't get me wrong, it certainly gives you great results, but I'm more interested in the actual pixel size of the individual pixels on the sensor, as actually they're exactly the same size on all the models. Yep, the pixel size on the Mini 3 and the 3 Pro and the Air 2S are all exactly the same, meaning the actual difference is simply down to resolution. And if you're mainly filming in 4K video, then there is practically no difference between the 4K video you're going to get from the Mini 3 Pro or the Air 2S. And this is a huge thing in my opinion, because despite the smaller sensor, you're getting the same 4K results from both. And this is where things then go down to your particular requirements, I think, in flying. Both the Air 2S and the Mini 3 Pro have got three-way obstacle avoidance, they've got quick shots, master shots and active track. They also both have the same slow-mo mode of 120 frames per second in 1080. Mini 3 Pro actually beats the Air 2S with longer flight time of 34 minutes for the standard battery and a spec'd flight time of 47 minutes with the larger Plus battery. The Air 2S though can fly slightly faster, top speed of 19 meters per second versus just 16 meters per second for the Mini 3 Pro. But that said, I have found both to be just as good when flying in very strong winds. Certainly the Mini 3 Pro has handled brutal winds without any issues for me at all. Both have got a maximum, thank you Ted, both of them have got a maximum video bitrate of 150 megabits per second. And again, the Mini 3 Pro actually beats the Air 2S slightly by having HDR video, as the Air 2S has only got HDR for still photo. So to me, the Mini 3 Pro will give you better video in lower contrasting light situations. So that is obviously a fair few specs and stats I've gone through, and I haven't even mentioned the very obvious advantage of USB-C charging for the Mini 3 series. And of course, the ability to get hold of that larger Plus battery to get a good 40 minutes genuine flight time with the Mini 3 Pro. So I don't know, I think you can see where I'm kind of going here. There are some very genuine, specific and real advantages of the Air 2S, most notably, of course, the high resolution stills of 20 megapixels and the ability to film video in 5.4K and the slightly faster top speed. But in my opinion, that's where the advantages stop. The mighty Mini 3 Pro gives you low resolution stills, but better or similar everything else. HDR video, longer flight time, USB charging, and of course the single biggest and frankly huge advantage, the ability to fly in most places, including towns and built-up areas. With the Mini 3 Pro, you can fly over uninvolved people and get the picture and video in places that simply are not allowed with the larger Air 2S. And of course, you can buy the Mini 3 Pro with the big and beautiful RC remote. Now I'm lucky, I actually have both, obviously the Air 2S and the Mini 3 Pro, and of course I have paired up the Air 2S to work with the RC remote, because once you start using this remote, you absolutely won't ever want to go back to the old remote. So that's it. Hopefully these points have triggered a thought or two with your own specific requirements. Don't get me wrong, Air 2S is an utterly incredible piece of kit. I just find the Mini 3 Pro is easier and better to fly in more places. So look, hope this helps you. As ever, give me a little thumbs up if you like this sort of stuff, and as ever, wherever you are, till next time, have fun, happy flying.